Somehow I have never made a graphic novel reading recommendations video, and I feel like I should have by now because I love graphic novels. I think that they are an amazing way to kind of break up reading heavy, chunky, huge, thought-provoking books. And then also if I do like a 24 hours of reading or any kind of span where I'm reading for like long periods of time, I love to like just incorporate graphic novels into there just to kind of give my brain a break. Though honestly, some of the graphic novels I'm about to recommend don't really give your brain a break, especially like the horror-y ones. So I guess this is more actually like graphic novels and manga or slash manga recommendations because I feel like they go hand in hand. These are going to be in no particular order, just the order in which I pulled them off of my shelf. And I'm probably forgetting a few of my favorite ones, so I might eventually make like a follow-up video to this. And who knows, maybe between now and then I'll end up reading more amazing graphic novels that I'll feel the need to talk about. Starting off, I feel like it would be kind of wrong to do a manga reading recommendation list without putting some Junji Ito on it. It was hard, but I picked 3 of his books that are my favorites, I guess. So I guess I'll start off with Frankenstein because I feel like that one would appeal to a lot more people than the other 2 that I have in this little pile. So this is Junji Ito's take on the classic story of Frankenstein, and I think it was done in a really kind of fresh but unique way. And I read this while I was home alone doing a 24-hour readathon, and I fully regretted that. I was freaked out so bad. I did not want to leave my office because I started reading it while the sun was still kind of setting, and by the time I finished it, it was pitch black in the rest of the house. I did not turn on any lights except for the light that I had in my office, so I was like, I'll just live in here until my boyfriend gets home, and that is life for me now because this book scared me so bad. I thought Frankenstein's monster was probably in my house. Honestly, I think sometimes when I read horror, I get a little bit delusional, but it's fine. It just kind of goes to show how good this book is. Maybe I'll show you like a taste of like what the... So that is kind of how Frankenstein's monster looks to start off, which is nasty. I mean, Junji Ito is obviously a horror manga author, so that's what you're gonna get, is just nastiness. So next, I had to put Tomi on this list. Tomi was the first horror manga and also Junji Ito manga I had ever read, and it made me really fall in love with Junji Ito's kind of art style and also storytelling. I will say I really preferred some of the volumes in this more than others, so this is kind of like different stories about Tomi and stuff like that. So some of them I really loved, and parts, I guess they'd be considered parts. Anyway, some of them I really loved and others were not my favorite, but I think as an entire collection, I have that backwards. It would be about probably 4 stars. I feel like I rated it 4 stars just because some of them weren't my favorite, but others were like 5 stars, super freaky. I don't want to spoil this one for anyone, but it's definitely a little bit heavier on the body horror at times. So keep that in mind if it seems interesting. And I'll just quickly show you, not that picture and not that picture. So that is the end of part 1 of Tomi and then the beginning of the 2nd volume of Tomi. I know that that one's been made into like movies and stuff too, but I am not brave enough to watch those, at least not yet, because I don't know, I always find reading horror is so much easier than watching it because I can decide what I'm going to picture and what I'm not. Whereas in a movie, you kind of see whatever the director wants you to see, and yeah, I'm too chicken. Last for the Junji Ito on this list is Uzumaki, and I do not recommend this for the faint of heart. This book is very disturbing. I thought that people were just full of it. Whenever they'd say that this is Junji Ito's most disturbing book, I'm like, there's no way. And even when I first started it, I was like, yeah, it's gross here and there, but it's not that bad. But there is a sort of cannibalism in it. It's definitely heavy on the ick, and it was 5 stars because of that. It definitely did what it set out to do. I don't know if I'd ever actually be brave enough to pick this up again. Maybe in like small bursts, but this book was a lot of nasty. I guess these drawings would kind of sum up Uzumaki pretty well. It's the spiral. If you know, you know, and if you don't, I'm somewhat jealous of you, honestly. Next is this graphic novel called Stray Dogs by Tony Fleecs, Trish Forstner, Brad Simpson, and Tony Rodriguez. And if you know the cover of the movie for Scream, this is their canine take on it. And what I love about this edition in particular is that At the back, they kind of did it with a bunch of different horror movies. There's Silence of the Lambs. But yeah, it's cute little dog takes on classic horror movies. This book is also not for the faint of heart. I myself am a huge animal lover, and it was a very hard read because it is a horror about dogs, so you can imagine where that might be headed. Honestly, I feel like I felt more sadness than horror with some of this. There was definitely like a few kind of moments, but then also I just wanted to cry once I had finished it. But it was very good, and I do recommend it if you like horror and dogs. The art style is absolutely beautiful. It kind of reminds me of like Disney, like Oliver and Company and stuff like that. Definitely a lot more horrific than that. But next we have Garlic and the Witch and Garlic and the Vampire by Brie Paulson. So these are really good kind of spooky graphic novel reads. Cutesy-Spooky, I guess I should say. And we follow this cute little bulb of garlic who goes on adventures and makes friends with different vegetables and a vampire and a witch. And yeah, they're really fun. I think that they're geared towards like 9 to 12-year-olds, but if you're older than that, you can definitely still enjoy them because I 100% did, and they're definitely ones that I'm going to be rereading. It's just kind of like a cozy, cutesy, spooky vegetable vibe. And I don't know how to make it sound more interesting than that. Next is the Creepy Cat manga by Cotton Valent. I love these so much. I'm definitely a cat person. If you've seen any of my videos, you've probably seen at least one cat appear in them. And this is about a spooky little cat that comes to live with a woman who just purchased like a haunted kind of mansion. And Creepy Cat does like typical cat things, so it's very humorous, but it all kind of has a spooky kind of twist to it. I really loved these. I feel like they're just a fun time. As long as you're not going into it expecting anything serious or life-changing, it is definitely a 5-star read. And the drawings on the inside are exactly like that on the outside, so you're getting what you're seeing from the cover. And it is in color, but it's kind of like, oh my goodness, muted tones. I have to show that to you. How freaking cute. I love when cats do that thing where they lay down and they have their paws under them so it looks like they don't have feet. They're like little hover kitties. Anyway, and then another manga for cat lovers is A Man and His Cat by Umi Sakurai. This one did a really good job at kind of showing just the quirky but somewhat annoying things that cats do. Mostly quirky though, honestly. And the little kitty looks like my Aowen. So that's originally what drew me to this book, and I ended up loving it. And it's once again just cutesy little drawings, nothing too serious. It is, I guess, a little bit serious at times. I know it made me sad a couple of times, but there are a whole bunch more, had that backwards, volumes of this that I eventually want to get my hands on because I really want to know what happens next with The Man and His Cat. But I think there's like 14 or something like that. It's ridiculous how many there are. Next is Everyone's an Alien When You're an Alien Too by Jomni Sun. This is one of the greatest graphic novels ever written. I feel like absolutely every single person could get something from this. It is the simplest drawings you will ever see in your life, and a very kind of simple text as well, nothing too crazy, but it packs such a punch and it has a lot of meaning and feeling and depth to it and really makes you think. It's like a lot of existential situations between this little alien Jomni and creatures that he meets on Earth when he's going to explore it. And anytime I feel kind of down, I am always drawn to this graphic novel because it is a quick read and it's a little serotonin boost, honestly. Next is one that I feel like does not get enough love. If you like stuff like Everyone's an Alien When You're an Alien Too and like Sarah Anderson, Twisted Tales, this one needs to be mentioned more. So it is a lot of like tiny little comics, and there's a whole lot of like dark humor in it and puns. Super fun, and it's also spooky, which I love in a graphic novel. And it's also color, but like muted tones again. It's just such a fun time. I basically made my boyfriend read this last year, and he also really loved it. And he's a reader, but not a huge reader, so if he gives something his seal of approval, you just know it's good. This is definitely one that I want to read every single year because it just brings me so much joy, and it is once again a very quick read. And then speaking of Sarah Anderson, I had to put her on here. So I put on Fangs Encrypted Club. I have not yet read her like Sarah Scribbles series or anything like that yet. Keyword is yet, because I will get there eventually. But these are two of my favorite graphic novels ever as well. Fangs is about a werewolf and a vampire who fall in love, and it's just cute, quick little snippets of their life. I think this one takes probably about 20 minutes to read. Like, it is no time at all, and it's also just like full of puns and dark humor, and it's such a good time. It's one that I always tend to pick up whenever I'm doing 24 hours of reading, or during October when I just need like a little boost when I'm in the middle of my spooky TBR. And then we have Cryptid Club, which I also love, and it's kind of the same premise, but it's more about cryptids and just cute little 1 to 2 page long comics about them, and it's definitely more of like a cartoony style, but I really love the characters in this one. I think she did a really good job at like giving each of them like a little bit of personality and a story without focusing too much on one character or the next. And then at the end of it too, she also gives kind of the background on each cryptid. Gosh, this one's so good. I need to stop her. I'm going to end up reading the whole thing right now. And then last on this list, I have all 4 of these deluxe editions of this manga series, but they're heavy and I didn't feel like holding them all. But I could not make this list and not talk about The Girl from the Other Side. This manga series is so good. It is cute. It is dark. It is spooky. The art style is stunning. Oh my goodness. It doesn't get prettier than that. And when I was reading these, I could not put them down. Oh my gosh. I loved this entire series equally. I cannot wait to eventually read it again. It was definitely kind of dense for a manga, but I think it's also because I was reading the deluxe editions, which are like 4 volumes in one binder. It might go a little bit quicker if, you know, you have just the little ones. I guess it wouldn't go quicker, but it would feel like it was going quicker. Anyway, loved these, and I cannot recommend them enough. I feel like they are such a good time, and so many people could enjoy this. And honestly, if the cover seems like a vibe that you would like, I highly recommend it, because I feel like this book is safe to judge by the cover. It's that good. Okay, so that is going to do it for me for this list of books that you definitely need to read. I just realized I did not even put Heartstopper or Lore Olympus on this list, but they're over here on my shelf, and I definitely recommend them too. Well, I guess those we'll save for part 2. But anyway, I think I'm going to leave this video here. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and happy reading.